What's up guys? So you might have noticed that over the last few weeks I've been on a bit of a hiatus with regards to the YouTube videos, and now you finally know why. Yes, I did indeed end up crashing my lovely Tesla Model 3. Here's what happened. So you might remember a few weeks back I made a video about Autopilot driving all the way from Limerick to Donegal. Well, as it turns out, a couple of hours after filming that video, I ended up driving the Model 3 straight into a ditch. Now, fortunately, it was a very mild accident, no one was hurt and no property was damaged, but the Model 3 itself was left a little worse for wear. The front left-hand side of the bumper was pushed in and cracked at the bottom, to the right of the air intake. The right headlamp was cracked, as was the underlying fog lamp, which had been pushed back into the bumper housing. The right-hand side fender was also damaged at the point of intersection between it and the bumper, and it was also bent outward slightly as a result of the impact. Towards the rear of the car, the right-hand side wheel was damaged as the tyre came off during the accident, causing the 20-inch rim to scrape along the road surface, and the nearby sill underneath the right-hand side passenger door was also dented inwards. However, on a positive note, none of the airbags deployed, none of the in-vehicle systems or sensors were damaged, and no one was injured. But one question still remains. How on earth did I manage to crash my 75 grand car into a ditch? Well, fortunately for you guys, even though I wasn't recording at the time of the accident, the Tesla was. Thankfully, the built-in dashcam system used all 4 surround cameras to measure every aspect of the accident, so you can watch the drama unfold right now. Let's take a look. So here I am driving on a remote country road in Donegal. As you can see, it's in the middle of the night at about 10 o'clock, and the road is quite wet and narrow. The speed limit is about 80 kilometers per hour, but I'm doing about 70, which for this road is still a little too fast in hindsight, but at the time I was so used to the extreme traction of the 4-wheel drive system that I wasn't too concerned. However, just as we approach this bend, there's a sudden bump in the road, which I didn't see, which caused the rear wheels to lose traction and skid from left to right until I crashed into the ditch. Looking at the right side camera, we can catch a glimpse of what happened to the right rear wheel. As the rear tyre slides along the grass verge, you can spot a sudden depressurization as the wheel transitions from grass to tarmac in the form of the smoky mist substance you see here. Now, of all the things to surprise me about this accident, this rapid depressurization of the rear wheel is something that surprised me the most. Considering this is a high-performance car that's quite literally designed to be used on the track where skidding and sliding is very much encouraged, then the fact that the wheel was simply ripped off by sliding from grass onto tarmac in this accident does raise questions about the durability of these tyres. Another major issue was the fact that I couldn't repair the tyre, simply because the Model 3 doesn't come with a spare wheel, and it also doesn't come with a basic tyre repair kit. This meant that the only other option I had was to wait for Tesla roadside assistance, but considering it was 10 o'clock at night in the back end of nowhere in Donegal and a bank holiday weekend, waiting around for several hours for Tesla roadside assistance was simply infeasible, considering the car was just strewn across the middle of the road. Fortunately enough, one of my friends lives very close by, and he was able to come and use his air compressor to get the tyre back on the rim and reinflate it. Once the tyre was reinflated, then I was able to take the car back to a safe place where I could think about the method I was going to use to repair it. This brings us to the next section of the video, which was the repair job. Being an electric car, there are a number of unique features which make what would otherwise be a simple repair a lot more complicated. Take the rear sill, for example. Considering that it's made out of reinforced steel, you can't simply use a suction cup to pull out the dent. Instead, you have to use a special type of device which welds onto the metal, and then you can pull out the dent more easily. However, considering this car has a 75 kilowatt battery pack at the base, you can't simply just weld it without disconnecting the battery pack. And in order to have that expertise, you need to have body shop personnel that are trained to use high voltage battery packs. Then you have the Tesla-specific quirks. Traditional cars use what's known as an OBD, or onboard diagnostics port, for body shop or service center personnel to connect to the car and diagnose issues. Through the OBD connection, a proprietary PC supplied by the car manufacturer will be able to communicate with the vehicle and enable the repair specialist to view and clear any issues or logs. The Model 3, however, uses a unique Ethernet-style connection in conjunction with an online software diagnostics tool. So in order for the body shop to access and clear any logs that are on the vehicle, they first need to have an account registered with Tesla. Added to this are the fact that Tesla use a lot of proprietary hardware in many of their cars, such as for things like the autopilot system and even the tyres. This means that when you're sourcing repair components, you have to order them directly from Tesla. And since Tesla's only distribution center in Europe is based in the Netherlands, you have a minimum turnaround time of about 5 working days for parts to be delivered. So with all this in mind, sourcing an approved Tesla repair service center was essential. Fortunately, Tesla have a dedicated webpage, which I've linked in the description, that outlines the 4 Tesla approved body shops in Ireland. Those being Ace Auto Body in Dublin and Galway, Red Abbey in Cork, and Porter's Body Shop in Armagh. Since the accident happened in Donegal, and since I didn't want to drive the car long distance in the state that it was in, I decided to take it to Porter's in Armagh to be repaired. When I arrived at Porter's, they gave the car a quick once-over, and they gave an estimated cost of about £7,000 for repairs. However, in order to do a full breakdown of costs, they would need to strip down the car to see if there were any further damages underneath. In order to do this, they gave me a free courtesy car, which was the Seat Ibiza that I reviewed in one of my previous videos, and I left the car with them to do a full teardown to see what was broken. 2 days later, I received a full breakdown of repairs, which I'll take you through now. First up, we have the parts. Surprisingly, these weren't as costly as I'd expected. The front bumper came in at £250, the fog lamp at £175, headlamp at £350, and front wing at £212, which in my opinion seemed quite reasonably priced for a premium car. Unfortunately, however, when the teardown was complete, they found that the rear suspension had been damaged, likely when the tyre ripped off, meaning that a number of suspension and control arm components also had to be replaced. In total, this meant that the parts added up to just under £3,000. Next up, we had the paint cost. This was the most surprising part of the bill due to how expensive it was. In order to colour match the paint of the new and repaired components with the originals, the entire front and right side of the car had to be repainted with a 4-coat pearlescent white paint, which added up to a total of nearly £1,800. The remaining cost came down to labour. To summarise, this basically meant taking off the entire front end of the car, as you can see here, removing the inner trim on the right side doors, removing the wheels, removing the back seats, disconnecting the battery, replacing the rear suspension, putting it all back together again, and then giving it a final road test and cleaning. All in all, the total bill came to just under £9,400, or in other words, a very, very expensive trip to Donegal. Due to the high cost of the repairs, I had to go through my insurer, Liberty Insurance, to cover the costs, who were very nice about the whole process, and they were really helpful and guided me through the whole setup. However, one thing they didn't tell me was how much my premium is going to be next year, so I'm going to be waiting with bated breath to see how much that's going to cost next summer. Now, remember that 5-day turnaround on parts that I mentioned at the start of the video? Well, it turns out Tesla are not only unreliable in terms of their car deliveries, but they also live up to their reputation in terms of parts deliveries. Instead of 5 days, I was waiting 7 weeks to get my car back from repairs. Yeah, I was without my Tesla for almost 2 months, and even then the garage was still waiting on some parts which didn't even have an estimated delivery date, so instead they just had to refurbish some of the parts from the crash and put them back into the car. So if you're waiting for a speedy repair after having an accident in your Tesla, then don't hold your breath. After the 7 weeks, I travelled back up to Northern Ireland to collect my car, and it was basically like getting a new Tesla all over again. The paintwork looked perfect, probably better than what it was on delivery, the damaged wheel looked good as new, and best of all, I got to go back to having instant power and acceleration after 7 weeks of driving a tiny little 1-litre petrol. So that about covers all the drama over the last 2 months. Hopefully you'll find it useful for those of you wondering what the Tesla repair process was like in case you had an accident. Now you know. Now that I have my car back, I've got tons of software updates and cool new features to go over with you, so be sure to stay tuned for those. And until then, I'll see you in the next one.